Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Well, man, I love your story. You're creating you have a platform of helping people find love, and I think that's one of the most important things that we can do as people on this planet. We got to
Yeah.
keep the love moving forward. So, I want to dive into your story, but before we do, I want to know, living through the pandemic, 4 years ago, we were trying to figure out how long the COVID pandemic was gonna last. How did you get through that time period, and how did that affect you making this app and the way you're living your life now?
So for me, I think the pandemic was also an eye opener for me, and also it made my company thrive better, and it made people look at my company more because in this part of the world, a lot of people could be very conservative. But during the pandemic, a lot of people were at home, were very lonely, and they really needed people to connect with. And that's when I started like the platform like a few months before the pandemic. So it caught on really fast because a lot of people started using the platform more because they were lonely. And it just made people have a lot of reflection that they needed to just take life more seriously. So I can remember a lot of people reaching out to me that okay, they wanted to settle down now because a lot of news, a lot of things they were hearing actually gave them like a reality check on the kind of decisions we're meant to make in life. And also myself, it was a reality check for me because I just felt that okay, there are a lot of delays, a lot of things that I just used to drag my feet to do. But when I saw the news online about a lot of people passing away and a lot of I just said, you know what, let me be more deliberate in, making sure that I connect more people and also making personal goals and personal decisions myself.
So, talk to me a little bit about, if I put you in front of a bunch of grade school kids right now at career day
Mm.
to get a handle on what you do on a daily basis. One of the kids says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How would you answer that child?
Yes, I'm in the business of love. I connect people. I'm in the love business. I connect as many people as possible, looking for genuine and sincere relationships that can transition to marriage.
So, what did you want to be in the 3rd grade? Was your dream always to be an entrepreneur?
No, actually, my dream was always to be. My dad used to be an engineer, so my dream was always to be an engineer. But that didn't work out. But when we are kids, we used to look up to our dads, and we're just really proud of our parents. And I just wanted to be like my dad. But growing up, growing I started forming my own path myself. And when I decided to just reflect on my life and look at why I was created, they say that the greatest discovery in life is to discover why you were created on this planet in the first place, your gifts and so on. So and that's when I realized that okay, I think I have a gift for connecting people because I've been doing this when I was in college. I was connecting people since when I was in college, and I just told myself, why don't I just turn this into a business where I can connect people, but also feel fulfilled as a human being, to feel fulfilled in adding value to humanity.
So talk to me about your childhood. How did you get these seeds of being an entrepreneur and getting into technology and focusing on getting people to find love? How did all of this kind of grow into who you are?
Well, okay, I grew up in a family where we love music a lot, and we love music. We used to write a lot, in my family. My brother used to write, my mom used to sing, all of us used to sing. And I think there's that connection that I had with music where it used to alter my emotions. And I just felt that I was on the soft side in terms of how I felt and how I used to express myself. So I was into poetry. I was always into, and I think it was just about my gifts, being able to harness my gifts and being able to amplify my gifts. And to amplify your gift, it takes a lot of consistency to work on your skill. And I knew that I discovered that, okay, I had a gift of connecting people. I had a gift of altering emotions. I had a gift of just speaking to people. So that I just owned my skills in terms of that. And I just, I discovered that at an early age and I started working on that. And that's when it's all amplified to where I am now.
So talk to me about the beginnings of developing this app that's been very successful. How did the idea come about? How did you actually launch it? How did all of this kind of begin and evolve into where we are today?
So After university, I decided to go into oil and gas. I was in the oil and gas sector. I was doing pretty well myself financially. I was really doing good. But one thing was for sure, I was very miserable. Even though I used to earn a lot of money, I just felt I was adding value. But something really peculiar happened in my family. My sister got married at the age of 47, and the person she got married to just lived a few minutes away from her, who was also looking for a spouse at that point for years. And I told myself, now they're happily married, they have triplets. And I told myself, why can't technology solve this kind of problem where you can meet people online and actually connect with them and also get married to them? So that's what happened. I had an idea to create a dating app, but I knew that it was something that this part of the world, so many people weren't using dating apps back then. This part of the world, they're just used to the conventional, introductions, like meeting people, at parties or at events. But, I had the idea and I said, okay, do you know what? I have this idea. How do I turn that into a business? And I got a coach. His name is Matthias Penas. He coached me for about 6 months. He's a startup coach. And he gave me the idea of how to transition my idea into a product. And that's when I built the MVP. The MVP was just to test waters. Now I have an idea. I wanted to see if people would be able to pay for my service and to see if it was a viable business. And that was when I created the MVP. The MVP gave me about 15,000 subscribers. I generated about $5,000 just to test the market to see if that would work. Then I went back again to build the proper app for um for the country and also parts of Africa. And that's when I went back to build it. But most importantly, I started having speed dating events in Lagos, in other parts of the country. And right to now, we've had the largest speed dating event in Africa with over 1,000 people in attendance. And that's just to show that what we're doing is really good. We've had over 105 weddings in 3 years, and that's just to show that we're just adding value, but also connecting people around the world.
So do you remember the first couple that got married or the first real successful story that came out of it that you were like, wow, I was a part of this?
Yeah, I was actually the first. I was actually the first person that got married.
Wow.
Well, so I met my wife. I met my wife on the app too, and we got married in the space of 7 months. So
Wow.
I'll say I was the first. I was the first. That time when I launched the app, I was still single, so I was actually looking for a wife myself. So I mean, why not? Why not try what you've created yourself? And that's what I did. I started using the app, and I met my wife.
I've heard someone say one time, the whole thing about being an entrepreneur is that you're taking care of a problem. You find a problem and you want to make a solution for it. And you did exactly that. So if anybody out there is like, "Well, why should I get this app?" You're like, "It worked for me." I mean, you're the ultimate spokesperson for the product that you're putting out there.
Yeah, it did. It worked
So
for me.
I love it, man. So who's been a hero for you? Who's been an inspiration for the work that you've done in your life?
My inspiration will be God. And the reason why I'm saying this is that because when we started this platform, nobody gave us a chance. Nobody. And I feel that, it was always inspired by God because all the ideas I mean, there are a lot of things that I feel that I dream about in terms of ideas and so on. I just feel God has brought us through this period, because like I told you, nobody believed in what we're doing. I mean, apart from maybe our families, they just thought, okay, let's support these people. But for this space, we've gone in leaps, we've grown in leaps and bounds against all odds, and we've grown but like the biggest dating app in West Africa. And it just takes God to be able to get we have our knowledge, of course we've applied our knowledge, but I feel that God also played a major role in that.
So if you can meet one person alive on the planet right now that you find fascinating and you could hang out with them for a little bit, who would that be?
Elon Musk.
Okay. What would you want to know?
Elon Musk is South African. He moved to America,
Yeah.
and he is one of the smartest people on the planet. I like to know how we navigated through the tech space and how we created this product, how we built what it built. Because there are a lot of things that, I always say that the easiest way to reach to get to the top is if you learn from the people that are on the top. And that's why I feel that is a great example. He migrated from South Africa to, I think, to Canada, then he moved to the States, and is someone I really look up to for what he's done, is built things that nobody thought he would build, like the SpaceX, so many things he's done. So I really admire him a lot.
So obviously, someone like Elon has a lot of motivation. They're doing a lot. What about you? What is that motivation for you every day to do the work that you do to help people find love, to develop, to be an entrepreneur? What is that for you?
My motivation is to be able to compete with the biggest dating apps in the world. My motivation is to be first to conquer Africa, which we're doing a great job. But my motivation is to be the biggest in the world because I'm really motivated at what we do. Myself, my partners, we're really motivated, and that's what keeps me up every day and says, okay, we need to be able to do things that will push the needle to take us to our goal, which is global recognition and global like growth.
So at the end of the day, you're helping people find this place in their life that they're looking for. It's almost like giving something to them. What's the best advice that you've ever been given? What's the one thing that you've always remembered?
Make data-driven decisions. and I can explain that a bit. When we started, we have like a mentor that used to mentor us. It says, he used to always say, when you have ideas or when you're growing your platform, make the decisions based on the data that you have. Don't put your emotions into it because we can all bring up ideas up in our heads and think that it will work, and it will just be a waste of money and time. So make data-driven decisions on how to grow your platform. That's a major thing that's helped me grow as a company. I don't make decisions based on, oh, I have a gut feeling this will happen. I make decisions based on the trajectory of the company, trajectory of the data, and what the data tells me. Like for instance, now the data tells me that we should be in Canada, we should be in America because there are more people subscribing on our platform in those parts of the world, in that part of the world. So that is why we're making those kind of decisions because the data already tells us that there are a lot of people using it out there.
So of everything that you've done in your life and evolved into at this point, what are you the proudest of?
I'm proud of the fact that there are people that can send me messages, mails in the night or in the morning about how much this platform has changed their lives. And that is the biggest fulfillment I can ever have. Even beyond money, beyond money, that is the major fulfillment. The major fulfillment is that being able to know that I'm touching lives, being able to know that people send me invites for baby child dedications or all those things. And I just feel that I'm adding, joy into people's lives, and that is just a major thing that makes me happy and makes me fulfilled as a human being.
So let's say you have a dream tonight, you run into the 18-year-old version of you, and you could give that young version of you a piece of advice based on the life you've lived, the wisdom you've gained over time. What advice would you give that young version? And would that version of you listen?
Yeah. Don't be distracted. The younger version of me would have been 18, right? The younger version of me would have been a very distracted person, and I would just say, don't be distracted. Discover yourself. I wish I discovered myself earlier, but it's never too late to dream. But never get distracted. If you believe in something, go for it. And regardless of what people say, if it's your gut feeling to go for it, just go for it, regardless of what people say.
So at the end of the day, everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, everyone around you, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I'm a family man. I love love. I was on a call today and I was telling someone that regardless of what has happened to him in the past, in his relationships, he should never give up on love. You should always believe in love, always believe that there's someone out there to love him. And that's my own mindset too as a person. Because regardless of what has happened, I still love people falling in love. I still love the fact that I'm happy when I'm in love, and I always want to have that feeling. And when people said that, oh, they saw me doing this, they said we're not surprised because we know that me, Dari, is always a lover guy, a lover boy. So they weren't surprised when they heard I said I built a dating app.
So this is one of the fastest growing apps going out there. If anyone wants to download it, reach out, learn more about you, where's the best place to go?
www.trueflutter.com. TrueFlutter.com.
Excellent. This is perfect. Thank you, sir. What an inspirational, beautiful story. Thank you for opening up today.
You're so welcome. You're welcome. I'm really glad. I love the questions you asked me. They're really, really good. And thank you so much for what you do. And I'll be waiting for you guys to. I'll be following you and anything.